speaker, and I am delighted today to get to interview Taylor Meyer. And Taylor is the 2016 Terry Bryant Scholarship winner. I can't wait to show you her presentation because it's phenomenal. But let me tell you also that Taylor was the valedictorian of her class, and she has now gone on and started at Cornell University for chemical engineering. So Taylor, thanks for being with us today.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, Taylor, as you know, we talked briefly before we started here, but I think your presentation is fantastic. We're going to show it in just a minute. And actually, I'll have you tell us about it after we see it so that people understand the concept. But first of all, tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and how you came to enter this particular scholarship contest.
Okay, so my name's Taylor, and I'm now at Cornell studying chemical engineering, and I'm involved in alternative energy in a group called ESW at campus. I really, before coming to Cornell, was struggling to find a way to kind of fund school, and my mom told me to look out for that. And I had part-time jobs, but the scholarships in general really seemed to help. And I found the Terry Bryant one, and I thought of this idea, and I thought it would work. And I did have some film experience prior to, so I kind of took that and combined it, and that's how I applied for this scholarship.
Okay, and let me say to those that are watching now, the scholarship, and tell us about the topic.
The topic was about distracted driving, and I myself, being a teenager, knew all about distracted driving and the problems with cell phone usage and how you think you can handle driving and talking and texting at the same time when you really can't. And I thought, well, what better way to apply that with like film and
Right.
you loves and just real life examples of what happens when in the car.
Yeah, yeah. And do you feel like distracted driving in your age group, and obviously I'm a whole lot older, but in your age group, is distracting driving something that you guys talk about, or is it just we older people that talk about it?
So I know it's definitely something that we always seem to miss. I know sometimes you're in the car with someone and you see them using your phone and you get a little bit apprehensive because you're like, ooh, I don't know about that. Like, do you want me to use the phone? But you kind of, there's like a boundary you don't want to cross with a friend.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Well, let's go ahead and watch the presentation, and then I'm going to have you talk about it afterwards. So let's go ahead and roll that.
Hey, you wanna play with me? Yeah. Hope you don't drive like that when I'm in the car.
Okay, Taylor, honestly, I think that's a fabulous presentation. Tell me about it. Tell us how you came up with it and how you chose that type of media, because it's very interesting.
Okay, so because I did say I did have experience in film, we had learned about stop motion, and stop motion, a popular thing to do is Legos, just because they're tiny little people, they're easy to move, and with that in mind, I thought of distracted driving, and I thought there wasn't a better concept to kind of mash with, because what more of a simple example could Legos be? I mean, they're destructible. You can see the real life consequences, what happens when you're on the phone. And so with my little sister, my little brother, I kind of made the connection to like, not only does distracted driving affect you, but those around you as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think it's great. I'm proud of you. I don't even know you, but I'm like, wow, this is a quite an interesting young lady. You're a role model. I can see that already, and I've just met you. But do you think about that at all? Do you have any cognizance of the fact that you're a role model, and probably other young people look up to you? Do you ever think about that?
Um, not very often. I know I have two younger siblings, but it kind of just slips my mind sometimes
Yeah,
that they're.
yeah, yeah. Well, let's talk a little bit more about what advice you would give to young people. I think that the kind of the things that you've accomplished already in your young life, I think that you would have some really valuable lessons to share with younger people, even like your siblings. Can you think of things that maybe stick out to you as far as these are things you just need to know that will help you in life?
Well, one thing that's really struck with me or staying with me is in I think it was eighth grade year, I was learning geometry in middle school, and I was really having a hard time with it. It was one of the hardest math classes I had ever taken, and I was like, nothing's gonna get tougher than geometry. And I'm in college now, and nothing was tougher than geometry. So for all of kids out there struggling with geometry, I promise it gets better,
Oh,
and that's one thing to stay with.
well, that's interesting. When I was in high school, um, I really liked algebra, but geometry was like Greek to me. Don't you think those two are like really different? It's like
Oh, they are. You're
you
either one
probably
person.
liked you probably liked algebra too, right?
Yes, I did. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
algebra is great, but geometry is like, what are the theorems and all this? I'm like, I just don't get it.
Definitely different things.
That's
So it
interesting.
kind of
Well,
just
tell
like
us tell us a little bit about your career goals because chemical engineering that's a pretty big profession to get into. What are you looking towards doing as you go through your college years and get beyond that?
well, with chemical engineering, I'm kind of looking towards the future, and with that in mind, alternative energy is kind of the big things that I want to focus on, and so I've been studying basically at school the chemical applications in real life situations.
Okay, that's interesting. Tell me a little more about that because I'm not familiar with what is current in terms of that conversation about alternative energy. What types of things are you looking at?
So there's a lot of things in cells, solar cells, that have to do with the applications, the kind of materials you use, and a lot of that has to do go back to chemistry. Like what is the most efficient? What's kind of what can you do to make the cell better? What kind of other alternative energy is there out there? There's biofuels. There's different types of cells we can use, and it kind of just it's ever reaching in its grasp, and that's something I really want to focus on towards the future.
Wow. Wow, that's really interesting. That's I would say that is over my head. But very interesting. Let me go back for a minute to distracted driving because I'm always curious. What do young people think that? I mean, do you ever think about the fact that in relative to distracted driving, there tends to be kind of a stereotype that people tend to think that young people are more guilty of distracted driving than older people. But it was very interesting the other day. I interviewed a lawyer, and what he said, here's the thing: the young people are so tech savvy that they're not the ones that get into the accidents as much because it's the older. He said he had a 16-year-old son. He said, look, when I try and send a text message, it may take me a minute. My son does it in 2 seconds. So what would you say to older people relative to the stereotypes that tend to exist for young people in distracted driving?
Well, there's definitely a misconcept. There's definitely a disconnect where everyone thinks it's the younger children or kids distracted driving. But I've definitely seen my mom try to text and talk to people at the wheel, but really just to figure out like who she wants to text, where they are, what button to press to open it, tell Siri to do something. It's just a lot more than when I'm doing it. So there's
Right.
definitely a gap between the time it takes and
Yeah.
you lose.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So you just kind of threw your mom under the bus. Maybe
Yes,
we
don't
better,
tell.
we won't tell her. I'm sure she's so proud of you that she really doesn't even mind. Well, let me tell you, and again, with lawyers, and obviously Terry Bryant is a law firm. They are lawyer. Terry Bryant is a lawyer, and his law firm, they deal a lot with accidents, and often they do occur from distracted driving type issues. What do you know about the law firm, and how do you feel that that his work is important? As a young person, do you look at that type of thing and say, we really need this, or how do you feel about that?
Well, I can just tell that, by the way, Terry Bryant has funded scholarships for kids to go to school and had them create stories, presentations about distracted driving. I know he really cares about its impact to society and how he kind of wants the younger generation to get involved and to make a difference. And I think that's really good for a law firm to just kind of, benefit the greater good and reach out. And that's always important in the community. And I think they're doing really well at his law firm.
That's great and much appreciated. Anything you want to say to him personally that I can pass along for you?
Oh, well, thanks, Terry, for giving me this opportunity to go to school and helping me fund education. It's really meant a lot to me.
Taylor, thank you so much for being with us today. I think you're a wonderful young lady. You're a role model. I think your presentation was phenomenal. You executed it perfectly. And we're so proud to get to talk with you today. So thanks for your time.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Have a great day.
You too. Bye now.